Hi Mark, Phil Beever here from the Wilderness Club. Just want to recap on our lesson yesterday. So we're going to run through a couple of bits here as we take the club away for yourself. We're going to see here, one, the club goes a tiny bit inside, but two, if we really focus on this right hip of yours, for me it's not really turning, so we get to sort of waist height there and there's no real rotation of the hip at all. If anything, the arms are just sort of lifting. If we look at your hero here on the right, which took me a while to get you some footage, we can see here his right hip as he takes the club away. Look how much more it opens, and we can almost see quite a lot of his left leg and his belt at this position here halfway back. A couple other things to keep an eye on. One, his set is steeper than yours, and that's because your club had gone a little bit inside. But the problem we was having yesterday, as obviously your ball's going to the right, is purely that the right hip, if it's not turning back enough, it's not giving us enough time to get the arms back in front. Top of the swing for me, it's a little bit more upright than usual, okay? And we can see the club head is wanting to go across the line. Now the very important thing is the start of the downswing. So if we draw a line on your shaft right at the top of the swing, there you go. Okay, and we'll do the same with Rafa, because he has the same looking top of the swing as you. You can see with Rafa there, he looks like he wants to go slightly across the line. Okay, so we draw a line there. Should have kept the first line. There you go, that'll do. Okay, now look at Rafa. As he starts down, you're going to see the club head moves to the left of this yellow line. You can see that first move, yeah, it just shallows just a fraction, and again, and again. So it's in a very different angle. If we look at yours, Mark, as you start down, you're going to see your club moves to the right of this yellow line. Okay, and all you're doing is you're pulling the club just fractionally over the top, then you're recovering. But because your arms are moving this way, obviously that's going to pull your hips and pelvis that way, which is why when we're coming down to impact, Mark, we've got no room into the ball. So we can see coming down, your arms are way more ahead of his. The shaft was a bit steeper. Coming down into the ball now, into this action here, because you had no right turn, that right hip is way too advanced now. It's gone forwards laterally as well and spun, and we're coming into the ball now and we can see we're so close to it there that we're hitting a hosel rocket that's going that way, unfortunately. It doesn't matter how much you try and save it with the hands, which you're doing there, because the club face is now pointing over this way. It's going to go to the right. Now, sometimes, obviously, you don't move into it quite that much, and you'll get away with it. We can see there our club face is wrapped over. Where if the club was shallow and a bit more like Rafa's here, and he's very aggressive through the ball, as we can see there with his legs, but look how much more room his arms have got. They're extending away from him. Up here, I know it's a bit blurry, but he's got true loft to the club. He hasn't had to flip it. So, what does Mark need to do? So Mark needs to, one, work very hard on turning his right hip, okay? Really open that to the top. That gives him a slightly flatter backswing with the arms in a little bit of a deeper position here. And then from the top, we're trying to feel like this club head is moving behind you. It's the club head. Now, you said some sort of V was your analogy yesterday, which was working well. So whatever you was thinking yesterday, keep that. But for me, it's the club head needs to start to shallow or move behind. We know yours moves this way, and we know your hero's Rafa's moves that way. So work on them two moves for me, Mark. Should see some big results coming up your way. With this, you're probably likely to hit some too big a draw with this, and that's just because the hand action's been so active. Just stick with it, and the hand action will start quietening down. With the driver, just don't tee it too high at the moment, because you tend to stay back on that right side, and then they are turning into a bit of a too much draw. So just tee it a little bit lower. It just encourages you to get a bit more on top of it and squash it and compress it. And hopefully we can get you swinging it like Rafa ASAP. See you soon.